Good morning and welcome to today's live show. We do have this morning stream, and then we're actually going to go watch, possibly even just listen in on Jerome Powell later this afternoon. So if you'd like to join us for the rest of this stream, for the continuation stream, which we will be streaming all day, check the link down in the description for Rumble. And I feel like I always just forget to put that dang link in there. So I'm going to get that in there right now real quick. I always forget. But we got a big day ahead of us, so I think we got to understand that this market can, people can try to guess which way this thing's going to go, and we could see money kind of move back and forth. It's nice that we were correct in our assessment yesterday, but now we have another game, right? A new day, a new game to get started with here, and we're going to pay attention to if this is more complex and how we really don't want to lose this low. But I wanted to talk about something when some people get in, because last night I did have not the, I won't say the best. I wouldn't say it's like the best thing in the world. But last night we did have, like, weirdly enough, it was 80 degrees and then it was 30 degrees, and now it's 30 degrees outside. So we do have potential for, last night we had like tornado warnings and sirens going off and wind and stuff smacking windows and all this stuff. So it was very, very troublesome sleep for myself. So I'm sorry if I do not have the energy I might have had yesterday, but I'm going to do my best with you guys, okay? I've loaded up the fridge. I've loaded up the snacks behind me, and maybe you don't want to see that Rumble thing anymore. We know if you want to join that Rumble stream, we'll mention it again towards the end when we do transition over, but we do always start out on YouTube this week, and then we're going to be switching over to Rumble just like usual. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's turn that off for now. That's up there at the beginning. If you want to get that, you just have to go follow the link down in the description. You hit that link, go follow, and we will be live over there in a moment. And today's a big day because apparently we wanted to have possibly maybe we'll put the camera on. I don't know. Should we put the camera on? I don't know if we'll put the camera on today. Should we put the camera on? We'll see. We'll see. Some things reading into, and something that I was looking into last night. I'm going to wait till a few more people were here, but we can give you guys a little taste of that. And what I was doing was mainly looking at, looking at volatility, going, wow, this is still remaining pretty damn flaggy here. So let's be aware if this thing wants to pop off. The 2-hour has not rotated back down. And I think we still have that shot to see some kind of crazy move. Maybe this is some kind of A, B, C move to get all the way up towards that 24 mark for volatility. Let's turn this on real quick so you guys can see that better. And then actually see the SPY maybe even cut these lows, right? We were talking about how this could be a complex thing by making that 30-minute down in here, then making the 2-hour down in here, and then maybe we start to see some good price action. So the only thing I'm wondering is, do we see the trap to the upside? I feel like volatility is holding up very, very well. So that 30-minute curling up from volatility would say this is more likely to be an ABC move to the downside. Make sure you have those daily expected moves: 569.18 to the upside, 552.86 to the downside. What up, Jonna? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jonna, thanks for coming over to that other live stream. I really do appreciate it. I see you over there. You think I don't see you guys changing your names around a little bit so I don't notice who you are, huh? Now, one good thing about today is sometimes on those FOMC days, we actually get data in the morning and then we get FOMC in the afternoon. We still get little bits of data, right? We get little bits of data. Hopefully this mic's working. It kind of got, I don't know. I think our power went out for a bit, so I hope my mic settings are correct and all that stuff. I tried to fix it. I hope the mic sounds okay. Jim Cramer will destroy NVIDIA today. And then I'm going to talk about something interesting because I had such crappy sleep because of the storm, because of the sirens. Someone got in I think like a car accident nearby, and there were just fire trucks like right down the road. And of course, I could hear them right as I'm starting to drift back off when the wind smacks some rocks into the window because it's so damn windy. We almost had a tornado and that kind of thing. It's just like, man, what a crazy, crazy day. And now it goes from 80 degrees to 30 degrees overnight. So it's kind of a recipe for a tornado. So if we do lose power or something like that, that would be the only reason that you see like the stream absolutely just like cut off all of a sudden. But I do want to warn you guys of that because it still is kind of that type of weather out there. I did pop outside to make sure to check on things before the stream started. So if the stream does randomly end, don't think I'm just leaving you hanging. It is overall looking like that storm was picking up a little bit and remaining now. So just be aware of that. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we'll be able to have a good, nice day-long stream, and it should be a good time. First move, the wrong move. Sometimes, Dallas, sometimes the first move's the wrong move, and actually it's kind of a lot of the time. Now, it depends on that. So you're going to see it. You're probably going to see it. During FOMC, sometimes you get those times. Do you guys remember the time where the girl came in and Jerome Powell told the climate activist to shut, or that he told them to shut the fucking door? Do you guys remember that time? Because around that time, we actually saw a 30-minute bar that literally went like this, like 5 points up, 5 points down, 6 points up, 6 points down. Do you guys remember that? Yeah, we had a bar that literally was like crazy moving, like up and down, and then it went up, and then that girl came in the room, and Jerome said that, and then it started to just tank. I thought that was entertaining. I thought it was a little bit entertaining. It's beautiful in Florida. Jonna, I hate you right now. I think you should do your morning stream till 11 a.m. and go from 1 to 3. That 2-hour break might give you inspiration. It very well might, but this week we're just putting ourselves through hell, right? I'm going to put myself through hell. Literally, I saw my daughter yesterday for a total of 20 minutes. Pretty crazy. You get more upset when you lose money or when you don't make money based on a trade decision? Let me think about that for a sec. So you're saying like if I take a trade and maybe it even goes in my direction, I would say that the more, because I'm pretty good at making the decision at a decent time, I would say the more times where I'm frustrated with myself are when this more so happened a while ago, I would say. I don't think this happens to me as much because of those frustrations, but I would see trade setups like this. I would head up to these type of areas, and I would obviously look at my analysis, pay attention to 570, understand that we might need to reconnect with the 5, understand that there is FOMC, so it's very unlikely to just squeeze the whole time through that and not take profit, right? So I think the more frustrating times, at least in my past, I don't think I've run into it too often. We've really heard me lately, at least in 2024, taking profit pretty quick a lot of the time, a little bit quicker than most years, I would say. But those times where you have the chance to take profit and you just go, oh yeah, but this could still squeeze. And instead of like leaving runners or something like that, you don't take any kind of profit. And then something like this happens and then your profit's just totally wiped out. I think that's the more frustrating time when you're green and then you don't make that decision, you don't follow your plan, and then it goes red. And I think that's the more upsetting time. So it's more like I myself turned a win into a loss by not following what I was going to do at those times. But if something goes up and it doesn't, go up to the amount of money I like, it doesn't go up to my target or something like that, it doesn't go to the weekly expected move like I'm expecting, it just does something like this and then falls down, I'm not going to feel too bad about that one. And if it happens during market hours, I can, manage the trade or have that tight stop. So I wouldn't say losses really make me that mad because I'm pretty quick to cut losses normally. Now, I would say this, things like this will always frustrate a trader, right? A big gap like that with a reversal signal, like this will always frustrate you. Okay, that'll always frustrate you, but that's actually one of those scenarios where you're green and then you end up the next day just red, just all of a sudden right away in the morning. I think those are the more frustrating ones, but the most frustrating is when you have a plan and you see the risk and you just ignore the risk and say, yeah, but I think this is going to squeeze. And that's more of the thinking of trying to get rich quick. I want to make more money out of this. The squeeze is going to happen right now. You're ignoring all of the warning flags. Does that make sense, Michael? That's more the frustrating thing for me, right? I understand losses are part of trading, right? I totally understand losses are part of trading, but I can kind of manage those losses in some way with my position size, with my plan for if something goes wrong, all of those kinds of things. But if I get too greedy, if I get too bearish, if I get too bullish, and then I throw my plan out the window, I see risk and I say, hey, yeah, we're not at my target yet. I see the risk, but we're going to get to my target, right? That's more of the I think, I feel, I believe. When the stock market's going to be, when this actually does, the price action is reality. And so it's kind of like a reality check. And so reality checks probably are the ones that are the most frustrating. Thankfully, I've made that mistake enough to not make that mistake, at least very often, I would say. So you're going to beat yourself up more if you were profitable and then the trade starts to go bad and you don't react and you just end up losing or breaking even. I think you're going to, breaking even, you're probably like, well, that's a wash. But if you end up losing money off of a profitable trade, I think that's more what would frustrate me the most. And I think the times that happened, I literally would just like walk away from my computer. But I don't necessarily run into that very often anymore. Once you run into those problems, which you most likely will run into problems in your own trading, which is perfectly fine. Everyone does. There is a learning curve. You have to figure out what things work for you because everyone understands money differently. Just based on your environment, based on how you're raised, you can understand money differently. You could trade totally different. But if you ignore the plan, I think that's more frustrating. Better to miss it than risk it. Man, Todd with the sayings. Todd, did you get my comment? I commented on one of your videos. I watched a little bit. I'm going to watch another one. Maybe in a little bit. I kept it all to lost 50% on those calls. Awful experience. Exactly, SH33. And I think that's the description of like the most frustrating ones. And I think the reason it pisses me off is because that's a decision that I made, right? It all comes back to I'm angry. I would probably be angry at myself because I was profitable. I saw the risk. I ignored the risk. Or maybe I didn't see the risk because I let it go to my head, right? And that's why this channel sometimes is good. You've probably heard me at times. I think it was like the JP Morgan trade went really well all of a sudden. I was up 300%. And I was like, man, I kind of am supposed to hold this to target, but the value of it went up so fast. And guess what? The chat was spamming in there. It's 300%, man. It's 300%, man. It's 300. And I could have made more. We actually ended up bouncing from that level, which can manipulate your thinking in some way. So I'm actually very glad to take profit there. I took profit like just before the target, which was fine, but we bounced just before the target. And I was going to hold it for an extra, 50%? When I was up 300%, it's like, okay, 350%. It's like, yeah. So the chat kind of helped me out one time. Willow's the risk. So it gets to my head too sometimes. It really does. And sometimes I turn a 3, that was a more big signal kind of thing, way outside of monthly expected moves for all those previous trades, gold, Meta, JP Morgan, those big dips down. So those don't frustrate you too much, because if I, made that decision to take profit late and I have to manage the trade, I still potentially was probably up like 100%. But chat actually helped me out back then, so it's kind of cool. I'd like to hear class. I'd like to hear class of when to enter and if you have stops right away. I don't necessarily. I mainly do the management of the trade style. Now, during a crazy market, like stops will help you, but stops can. It depends on your trading style too. Me, for the most part, I just do management of the trade. So if you take that, there's a portion at the very, very bottom. That's kind of the management of the trade part that we added to the course. And we're potentially going to start up a course sale maybe in April, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see where this potentially goes over the next couple of weeks. But if we start to see signals like we're making a major top, I might do that. But I just wanted to... wait, what was the question? My brain's a little funky. So yeah, as far as confirmations goes, it's just you're looking for those 5 reasons. And a lot of the time, I use the MACD as my trigger. But if I have, say, more than 2 reasons, say I'm curled up, I got this going, I got this going, I got the 5-day there. I pretty much have 3 reasons right there why this could be a good move. But the reason I use the MACD, it does lag, and normally I'm paying attention to the divergences, and I'm not doing swing trades on a 30-minute or anything like that. So the triggers to take a trade are when you have those 5 reasons, and we try to blatantly give you those 5 reasons in the full technical analysis course. But for me, the main triggers I look for is that closing green, that closing positive bar. It can be red if it's like a big bar that kind of gapped up. And it's just to give myself that trigger to make a decision. And usually I am making, most of the time, I'm making that decision based on the MACD actually able to curl up. But I have to see all 3 things at the same time with that MACD curled up, right? If the 9 is like this, right, and I see a bar that's kind of like this, and this MACD is curled up, I might wait for that next bar, right? Then it would carry and maybe make another one, but I want it when all 3 of these. This is when the play seems the best for me, especially in volatile times. Waiting for that confirmation can be a very, very good thing on all 3, I guess, indications, I would say. So price action, MACD, and RSI. But most of the time, it's just, hey, do I see that green bar up here? Okay, MACD's crossed. Usually if the MACD's crossed, the RSI is a little bit sooner. So usually if the MACD's crossing, the RSI's already done it. Money-making supermarket. Who the hell changed their name? No, so I actually remember yesterday I said I had a couple and I actually took one off. So if you heard me yesterday, I took one off, took profit on one actually because it was worth some money. Hey, take profit on one, leave the other one in case, we saw that kind of ABC type of move down. So Jonna, wait, was it Jonna that asked that? Who asked that? Yeah, Jonna, we can talk about that further. Let's get through today. Let's really try to get through this week, and then we'll try to tackle some of that stuff, maybe going on into, like, if we're squeezing or something like that, it would be very nice to talk about those type of things. But say right here. So right in this area, we see a 30-minute divergence down in this area outside of the monthly expected move. So a 2-hour move is very likely. Okay, so technically the trigger for the trade is here. Technically, this is the positive bar above the 9, crossing on the MACD and up on the RSI. And when that crosses on the MACD, I can say go, 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 right? And then we see here that the 2-hour was able to cross up and confirm that divergence as well on the same bar. So that 30-minute just potentially got you in just a tiny bit earlier than this confirmation close of this 2-hour bar. Quick note here, we are seeing this resolve. As of right now, it looks like we're opening up in the upward direction. If we keep this gap and we do this, I think it's very likely we sweep the lows. Okay, Jonna. Yeah, we'll go over it more and more. Keep asking questions, and if something confuses you in there, watch the video twice, and if you still have a question about it, come back with it, okay? This is where you ask those questions, and I appreciate it, and I'll talk about it as much as I can, all right? But we do need to get a feel for what this market wants to do today. We'll see if we're going to get some rip around kind of behavior. Market opening as of right now looks like 562, 563 right now. I'm going to go look at the put call levels. I'm looking at Tesla, see the money flows, right? So the thing about, say, even Amazons, the Teslas, all these kinds of ones, all right, you're going to notice that the 30-minute down here, it is actually like holding as almost like a higher low, but we still have that opportunity where the 30-minute builds up for a moment. You see that flash move down, and then we see something like this, right? We still could see something over here to create that divergence point. So we don't necessarily have a good trigger for the trade, right? We don't necessarily have that at this time. Maybe I would utilize an hourly chart here, as that's a little bit closer to the center line. Right? Maybe I could utilize this. I'm taking it in negative territory, so I'm assuming a bit of risk there. That's perfectly fine. But if this curls up, we have to understand you have a big event going on today. So today would be one of those days that's almost like an earnings. It's almost like whatever. There's going to be a lot of implied volatility. 2, there's going to be a lot of people guessing what happens before. 3. There's going to be a lot of people guessing after, which means the options market might be in total control here, which is very, very scary for these stocks. It means you can rip around. It's kind of like an earnings where you see maybe one big move and then it snaps back, or you can just see this thing go back and forth, right? So something here would be the 2 hour for Tesla is obviously what I like the most. See if that thing can curl up into positive territory, aka can we curl up here? I might assume the risk in negative territory. I like to do that, by the way. I like to take it when the MACD curls up. And you'll notice that we are seeing the price action close above the 9, or not close yet. We have literally an hour and 57 minutes, a little overzealous with that. We'll notice that the RSI is crossing right now, but the MACD isn't, okay? The MACD is not just yet. So this could just react up and fill this gap and then fall right back down, right? We could see this 30-minute need to make some kind of signal down in here for us to actually see more upside. But this is a great level for Tesla. We have key levels here for Tesla over on Patreon. Like Sol for Friday? Does the mic sound different today, by the way? I just want to know, because I think we lost power for a bit, and I was looking, and this morning I was testing my mic just to make sure everything's working good, and I was like, ooh, something's a little funky here. Tesla Island reverse. No, my mic sounds the same to me. Okay, good. That's a good thing. Move it a little bit away from myself for a second. I didn't have a chance to take a peek, Sid, but oh yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about this morning. Okay, let's talk about the fun thing that I did this morning, or mainly overnight, because I really wasn't sleeping well because of all the noise going on. So not running on the best amount of sleep, but running on an okay. Like, we're doing all right. We have to really be paying attention to today. The thing I was paying attention to were all these accounts, and a lot of them I think might be watching some of these videos, weirdly enough. But I clicked on some accounts just that I do not trust. I clicked on some accounts that I do not trust. Instead, I'll read the rest of that message in a second. I clicked on some accounts that I don't really trust. And the reason I did that was just to be like, hey, what are these guys saying? Do you know what they're saying? The accounts that I don't trust? They're saying if you lose this low, we are going to see a massive drop. And I love to hear that. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love to hear that. Because that means that the psychology we were reading into yesterday, the scenario that we put out last night where we kind of drew those lines and we were suggesting that you could even start in the upward position, right? You could head to that upside. You see that pull down, maybe a big spike down with the news. And then on Friday, we might see this thing start to bounce back. Now, we have to see if that's actually going to prove itself in the price action here. But for the most part, I just thought that was very interesting that 2 or 3 of the accounts that I really do not trust, I'm not going to shout them out. I'm not here to bash on people or anything like that. I've never heard someone in chat mention these channels, but a lot of them are saying you lose this low, it's over, we're crashing, it's done, you're going down 40% from here. That's what they're starting to say. And so what I really want to happen is exactly what they want. I want them to get exactly what they want, because that means this. They also said in there, I don't think I'm going to double down in shorts right here, but if we lose that low, I'm going to double down on shorts for sure. I'm going to open up that big short position down below this low. That's what they said in their videos. And so that means that these people are starting to look at things and go, oh yeah, this is crash, crash, crash. The psychology is kind of working. And if we actually do chop that low, they're not going to be paying attention to this if it happens, which is very, very nice, right? Because we can pay attention. We know we're paying attention to that. We know that if this does just keep going and going and going, yeah, and it never makes that divergence point, okay, they could be right, But it would be highly improbable for them to be right. They are just clickbaiting. They are. They are. They are. They're genuinely clickbaiting. I was reading the thumbnails or I was looking into the thumbnails. I was looking at this. Literally an account that I looked at said everything is over, we're absolutely going to crash right now, and then the next video was a bear trap. And I'm like, we do that too. We flip back and forth, but usually we're talking about those scenarios in it. So I went into the video to see if he was talking about, both sides. Really wasn't talking about both sides at all in any video. He's like, especially one of them, very confident with it. So I'm not reading into that. I'm not trying to bash some account or something like that. That's not the goal. The goal was for me to figure out if the psychology that I was talking about made sense. And I think it kind of does. Now, we don't have to do this first, right? This could just be that ABC move right now. So we'll pay attention to if this 30 minutes even able to curl up, right? That's kind of step one to try to get to 570. And then after that, we'll have to see what happens with Jerome Powell. What do you think about today being a theta day today? I would say buying options today is probably a lot worse than buying options yesterday. Yeah, that's really funny. Jonathan, it's funny you mentioned that because the people that I trust, none of them are saying that. They're saying we have to be aware of the risk of that, which is very, very nice because I do not pay attention to other people's analysis very often. But since I had time, I was, if you're up late, what are you going to do? Well, I'm pretty much sitting in my office, just watching some YouTube, analyzing some stuff. And the one I noticed that the main ones that I trust, they were overall saying, hey, watch out because this could be some kind of squeeze. We're aware that it can drop lower, but if these things start to happen, we need to be aware of them because we could see some kind of squeeze from here. And people are positioning like this is a crash, and it really seems less probable. And I was like, wow, that sounds a lot like us. And that's fantastic to see because it's really nice when people you trust have the same opinion, but we're still aware that we could be wrong. And the other thing is, then you go look at the ones you don't trust, and they're the complete opposite. They're all saying crash, 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 and I'm going to add those short positions here. That's what they said in their videos. And I'm like, okay, perfect. The psychology we were paying attention to makes total sense. Going down to 550 makes total sense. And we know that, especially from looking at last night's video as well. I think bearish since fall. I do think we could go lower, but not until if economy. Now, I did put out a Patreon video, and it was probably one of my crappiest ones. It was such a long day. It honestly, I hope it was overall in some way helpful. But the way that we actually head lower than this before we see maybe some kind of actual like mega squeeze or something like that. If Ron Walker, I saw someone mention him. If he's going to be right calling the all-time high, I think it's just a little bit early for that. But I think he overall was using more so paying attention to like Elliott Wave or something like that for it. He hasn't seen I can't like and it makes sense. Like we haven't seen the good reaction to the rate cut, right? If we get some kind of rate cut announcement or something like that, we haven't necessarily seen that. So the way that this chops this low and goes lower is actually if you see that daily upward move and we see this go up to these type of areas and we reject from like right in here at like 584, 585, or that 592.50 right in there, right? And you'll notice that that 50-day moving average is right in that area. So the way that it happens is right as everyone gets really bearish, we see a snapback. They say, oh my gosh, we're going to keep squeezing, and it curls right back down. And the best part about that is if we did this type of move next week and we have a weekly expected move right here, what are we going to be saying? We're going to be saying consolidation on the shorter time frames, but if the daily chart does cross down, that means we can cut the low, go make a new one if we're still close enough to that center line when we do it, right? If the MACD just goes like this for a few days and then goes like that, it's going to be a big problem. So that's, I think, how you head lower without maybe Ron Walker being right, Rates most likely will be cut. Well, retail sales is dropping off really dramatically. A lot of things, GDP, those readings of GDP that they're trying to price in there, really coming down on that. So Yeah, rate cuts are probably going to be very on the table, and most likely they're going to be slow to react, and they're going to have to overreact, and then that's going to be the moment that people might celebrate one more time, just for a little bit, and then we see that thing maybe even turn back down. So we'll be paying attention to the signals around those times, right? We'll be looking for maybe even into April if we see those things up here. Hey, this was pretty good, right? We were pointing these things out, how this, remember when we were pointing out how the divergence on the RSI is still holding right here? And then look what happened, bad things. Now people might totally forget about that, and then it might happen again. I don't think a rate cut today though, no. I think he's going to announce, I think one of two things could be seen as, oh shit, what was that? Jesus. Is everything okay up there? Jeez. Is everything okay up there? My goodness. Yeah, but an announcement of more rate cuts or an announcement of those, yeah, just an announcement of more rate cuts or some kind of future thing could be important. That could be the thing. End of QT. Yeah, Dave. There you go. Dave's got it. That's what I was trying to think of. End of QT. Perfect, Dave. I was trying to find that second point. And I was like, gosh, see, this is why I love the chat. You guys always fill in the holes. And I like it. You fill in the blanks when my mind blanks. Because right now, what? We're pricing in, what? Is it 2 cuts this year? Or something like that? No, it could all be options funkiness though, Jack Cats. It could all just be options funk. Oh my gosh, my freaking, I gotta fix something real quick. I don't know what is up with this, like, this cord here. I do have the camera set up just in case I want to turn that bad boy on, but this thing keeps unplugging. It's bugging me. So give me 2 seconds. I gotta plug this thing back in now. Place for this. Bruce always sits on it too. That's probably why it's all busted. I don't even think this is the right charger for it, to be totally honest. Don't worry, guys. I got all the good luck here for you. You said Jackcats. No, I would never call Jackcats that. Come on. Yeah, top plus shows 3 because yeah, right now they have 2 penciled in. Yeah, so I think they might just pencil in one more. The ending of QT would be huge. Remember, the ending of QT does not mean like straight up QE. That's not the same thing. Little bit different. Big chug of the coffee. Hopefully my keyboard continues to work. It kept turning off last night. I'm like, what the hell? You have any mayo? We always got that Japanese mayo somewhere. Usually we leave that Japanese mayo over there on AMC or GME, you know? There it is. Usually we leave the Japanese mayo right here. What is it? QP mayo? Usually we sprinkle it on this bad boy. Oh, we're confirming a daily divergence on AMC today. Coming down, short squeeze later. Yeah, I think sweep the lows, take out the stops there, and then come back. Oh, let's turn this on in case some people decide to subscribe. I had to turn it off for the Patreon video I made last night. Alert box. Ka-ching. I just stopped looking at it. I mean, this is what you want to see. GME doesn't have the best signals, though. That's the worrisome thing. You'd like to see GME get going. Wonder if the... Wait, who said market's coming down? Yeah, I think short squeeze later, this would be very cool, but I just don't know what would cause this, unless like Trump's doing something this morning or something. VIX just looks like it's still holding. It's really still just holding very controlled, right? So anytime that 30-minute curls up, that's when I think we have a shot to go down and fill that gap. You got the crazy ones. You got AMC, GME, and DJT. Damn, I mean, it's cool. I hope it pops off. Oh yeah, where is it? Where is it? I gotta sit. I'm going back. I'm going back. I can scroll. I can scroll. Lucas Garrett, Michael Silva. Michael Silva, yeah. A REIT. Everyone brings up a REIT trading. Maybe I need to give that a view for a sec. See if he's any good. You know you love lottery stocks, Sid. I don't know what message you're talking about, but that I missed, but um, I don't think lottery stocks knows nothing. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not here to talk about other channels, right? This is okay. Maybe we can do that over Rumble. But where's that other message, Sid? I feel like you had a longer one that I was supposed to read. Yeah, I have it still in my notepad over here. Reed's very smart too. Okay, cool. That's awesome, Terrence. I think he knows his audience. About SoFi. Well, now we're seeing the positivity. So I don't care why the positivity comes in, but I think the way to screw over, right, the most amount of traders is to shoot it up, shoot it down. That's what I see. That would be a crazy drop, but that's what can happen during this. So if people are expecting rate cuts and then they don't get that and they see that as negative, and then later on they just go, okay, but this is kind of priced in and we're still getting the ending of QT. Could be interesting. Oh, wait, who is that guy? Who the heck was that guy? Dave wants to look over at BA. Let's go. Some Bowen. All right, nice move. Okay, Boeing going down to this area again, curling back up. Pretty negative. You notice when you were this negative, you weren't even that negative last time, but you still had to make that at least divergence on the MACD. Pretty much before these at least attempted good bounces, you always made some structure like this, so I'd be aware of that. If this thing can build back up, looking at a weekly chart, Luke's on acid. That's great. Weekly chart would be good to curl up on, right? I mainly just pay attention, like if I say like, okay, this is maybe a head and shoulders gonna form, I'm mainly just paying attention to if that low is taking out for violation, right? Do we see a deeper close? Because I still would kind of be like, hey, if that weekly turns up, looks very positive, right? If that would just go like that, ooh, that'd be good stuff. Has that ever happened? Yeah, you don't want one of these moments. I bought some Amazon stock. You know what that means? Amazon looking pretty good. I mean, it doesn't look bad. I just think it might need to make this like a 30-minute divergence down by that weekly expected move now to turn around the 2-hour, which has 2-hour divergence. And the daily's really, really deep and down. Happy positive vibes. Happy posy vibes. All right, let's go check back over on maybe the Qs on the 30 minutes. See if this is able to get back into that monthly expected move. This is probably a nice, what, maybe in the 15? Yeah, 15 crosses down bad. So we're watching, we're waiting. This is technically a positive bar above the 9. No cross up on the MACD, but you're seeing it on the RSI and the price action. So if that prints in about 8 minutes, maybe we see a little follow through or something like that, but that would point in that upward direction. SPY looking pretty decent. Thoughts on gold? I think gold's gonna top out here. I don't know if it's the top, the major top, right? Why is there blue on my screen? Last time I had blue on my screen is because it, what the heck? Why is there blue here? That's weird. Anyway, yeah, looking at the 2 hour, you're seeing that 2 hour divergence. That means that your 4 hour is very likely to cross. If you look at this 4 hour, you do have the divergence on the RSI and you're lightly, very light on the MACD. So this could just go, oh my goodness, and then oh my goodness, and then we see something awful. TAK, and we were debating to sell our shares. Yeah, we can look at that. So yeah, I think gold, the reason I'm talking about that though is look at the daily divergence. If that confirms and you see weakness signals up above 3,000, then you might see this thing vomit for a bit. Is it over for gold overall? It could be with these type of signals. These are the signals that say, hey, divergence, okay, send me into a negative trend. So that can be a series of lower highs after you confirm this if you're able to go negative. So that's just something to watch there. But a lot of people still targeting like all the way up to 3,600, I think, or 3,500. Okay, and you wanted to look at TAK, Taquito. Taquito here on the daily, probably 2 hour double top as of right now. Now you see this happen a lot too, so watch out if you break through. It can be a trap, but it also could be a big move. So if it's able to just do something like this, that would be nice. But if you start to lose this down in here, you're kind of going, okay, that 2 hours confirming down. My daily's way up there. I've been overbought for a little bit of time. I broke through a resistance area. So maybe I want to retest back down into that. Maybe I just want a daily curl down to go test that 20 before I start to head in that upward direction. This can also just hold up, right? We know that things can move sideways, pullbacks with time. This is a very bullish move. So potentially difficult to short. Look how bullish that thing is looking. That thing is a... So at this moment, if you're looking like, oh, we need to sell everything kind of thing, well, I'd be looking at monthly charts and going, is that a buy low or is that a sell high? Right? Because that's the main thing we're doing, right? We're trying to, at the end of the day, it's kind of like buy low, sell high, right? When it comes to investing, it's like you try to buy low and you try to sell high. TAK, or whatever this is, Takeda Pharmaceutical Company, is suggesting that the monthly chart is curling up with a bunch of divergence, so you could see some positivity very soon. So if this is confirming up, we are seeing that. We are seeing that even follow through right now. Got to make sure there's no daily divergence, going into maybe end of March or April or something like that. You can get pullbacks on the daily, but this would suggest that this is actually potentially a good 12 to 24 month hold. But you guys have to understand that's your money. You have to do what's best for you, right? I don't know how much you have. I don't know what your plan is with it. I don't know anything about your accounts as far as retirement or something like that goes, considering that you have possible options through the company or something. So getting to this level would be very nice, but that might take a whole 12 months to get there. But this is suggesting that this is a good 12 to 24 month hold, if not more, because of the very big base. If that fails, we kind of see how that would happen, becoming more complex. So if the daily crosses down, that's close to the center line. If I see daily divergence, that's like, close to going back down in that negative trend, really showing me not like a good move or something like that. Great move, but we're going right into where we fall from a few times. So for TAK, it's kind of like, it seems like it's a good 12 to 24 month hold as of right now. You've gotten that confirmation, but you have to have your plan for if something goes wrong. Taquitos from Whataburger. I think we're supposed to get a Whataburger here. We don't have a Whataburger. Ah, yes, yes, Spy. Yes, get very, very bullish. Get very bullish, my friend. Do it. Oh yeah, you go like this. Yeah, I'm not saying it can't happen, secure opening. I'm just saying it seems very unlikely to happen right now, especially as everyone's, thinking about volatility. So what is a crash? Let's just say that. What is a crash? A crash is a low probability scenario, very low probability. So what does that mean it is? It is very unexpected. We are seeing something unexpected here, but you notice volatility is very, very high. So implied volatility is very high while it is happening. It's been high for about 4 weeks. Okay, so if implied volatility is high, does that mean people are kind of expecting it? Right? Those ranges are a little wider. People are expecting it. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? So if they're expecting it, then the party can continue because we're waiting for a time where they're not going to expect it. That's at least how I like to think about it. And this is a good time to think about it too. Some kind of squeeze, right? Some kind of squeeze or even big drop, right? If these things don't confirm that divergence, then we need to be watching out. But for the most part, we've seen it go up, implied volatility go up the next week, up the next week, up the next week. And then we get to this week and it goes down just a little bit on these weekly expected moves. Now it's still big, so we might need a whole nother week of tighter price action to get that nice and unexpected range where nobody's really like making. Maybe they do have those bets, but the implied volatility going into 1 week is just lower, and then we see something unexpected happen. Wolf is squeezing. Wolfie boy, get back up there, Wolfie boy. Just reacting kind of like the market at this point for the Wolfie boy. Can you look at Palantir? Yeah, Kevin, let's go look at it real quick. Yeah, still holding the 5. That's a good sign. It's a good sign. You're just really trying to retest this 5 and you're waiting to see the reaction. Do we see a firm closing below the 5-day moving average? Right? We saw the bounce come in. No real divergence there. So if this just curls up, hey, positivity, fill a gap. Watch out. I think Palantir is still sitting in the middle, and Palantir still could curl down the 2-hour chart to go down to like 79 before it's able to go to the upside, right? It's not overbought or anything, but we're just aware that there's an event today, and if this 2-hour would cross, you'd be looking at this, you'd be looking at this. Yeah, if AMC usually sees positivity, it's usually pretty aggressive, like a big ass gap or something. And usually it's going to happen on a Monday or Tuesday. So you're kind of like, hey, it doesn't happen on a Monday or Tuesday. Once you get to Wednesday and it doesn't happen, you're like, all right, it ain't going to happen this week. It happening into options expiration would be just wild, especially this options expiration. Next week might be a different story, but this week, I clicked on the wrong thing. Let me get it. Where are you? This. Let's look. Let's see how bullish people are on AMC for this Opex. Yeah, not the most of things going on. Looks like 3.5 is going to be the level to watch there, but according to our weekly expected moves, that seems a little bit unlikely. But you want something unlikely, right? We just talked about the crash being unexpected. You know what else is very unexpected? A short squeeze usually is unexpected. So the fact that this is higher and people are mentioning short squeeze pretty often, we still might need to see that one more push down to get them nice and bearish. And then they said themselves, they said it with their own words. Hey, if we cut this low, I'm going to be adding that big short position at this point. Not holding it here. No, there's too much risk of something, just in case we get a snapback before that drops down, right? They still believe everything's going to drop down. And I'm just like, yo, it can. 2-hour crosses down. I'm not going to be holding on to things if the 2 hours are crossed down. But then if it scoops back up, ooh, boom to the upside. So Run the poll. I always blank out on how to do it. There we go. Stream here. Refresh. And just like that, YouTube, the chat is not working. So, okay, let's say this. Are we going to fill this gap? Put yes or no, because I can't do it. You can see here, I can't do it. Something's wrong. There's a monkey with a hammer on my screen. So just a yes or no. Do we fill this gap this week? We'll say this week. It does, doesn't it, Dave? It seems almost too easy, but so, JP Morgan and those ones kind of look like that too. Okay, some no's, some yes. Looks a little bit 50-50. Yes, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like it's pretty 50-50. Justin's typing it. Oh, wait, Justin, you never answered. You said, oh, this week. Dum dum doo dum ba da 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 da. Boom boom boo doo da 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 da. Jonna says no, no. Like when you said it like that no with the dot dot dot, it made me think like, Bruce, did you eat the thing off the floor? And he's like, no. Okay, some yeses for this week too. I think it's pretty, from what I see, pretty 50-50, probably pretty close. There you go. In 25 minutes, we might be confirming up this bar, but we are filling that cup. Whenever we see that 5-minute handle. Jeez, that lack of sleep is catching up to me. Freaking storms. Freaking storms. So Swan, you're believing in that kind of scenario that I was pointing out, that I was like, I don't know why, but this seems like a crazy scenario, but it could happen. FOMC has seen crazy things. I believe you, so maybe yes. Maybe. Kind of depends on what needs to be accomplished with this options expiration. Yeah, Willow, but which one? Sorry, but I'll put my headphones on. I had to call this. I had to call this company again. I was watching my YouTube video back, and I was like, "Damn, it peeled again, really bad. It's been peeled really bad for like a month now. I've sent these in twice now. I love these headphones. I love them. They're so comfy. They're so nice. They sound so good. Noise canceling's good. Everything's good." But I don't know if it's the shape of my head or you're not supposed to be wearing them for 8 to 12 hours a day. They just keep peeling. I've replaced them multiple times. Thankfully, I know a guy. I used to work for that guy. Just bought a few lotto puts for this Friday. I have to listen to some tunage. I'm gonna, especially on FOMC day, if I hear Jerome Powell's voice and stuff, I'm just gonna pass out on stream. Damn. Okay, so it's just the chat over here is not going to work. All right. Sorry, we can't do a poll. Can't do a poll. It's not letting me. There's a monkey with a hammer on my chat over on YouTube's uh, live stream here, so I can't do a poll, but close enough. About 50-50, I would say, is what it seemed like. Whoa. Wait a sec. I might need to pull up other charts for a second there. News: Zelensky announced he plans to speak with Trump Wednesday. For us, the red line is the recognition of the Ukrainian temporarily occupied territories as Russian. We will not go for it. What time is the Powell thing? 2 hour. We'll get the FOMC, and we'll get the Fed interest rate decision 2 hours before close, whatever time zone you're in then. For me, that's 1 o'clock because I'm central. Yo, is it weird if I go get my wife's desk is down here too? Everything's pink, but I'm gonna use her Evie blanket. I don't know why I wore my my golf shorts today, and it's 30 degrees out. Sorry, it was 80 degrees yesterday, so I kind of figured it'd be nice today, even with a storm. My bad, but now I understand the whole tornado thing. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna go get this blankie. Here, you guys want to see this? Oh shoot, I took the camera down. Damn. She has an Eevee blanket with like all the evolutions of Eevee on it. She's a nerd. But she's a nerd who set up my office really nice for this week. Did you guys see in the video yesterday? I have like a shelf behind me. She set all that up, and she even got me a little like sign at the dollar store that says money making market. And she has my Asta from Black Clover and my Ari from League of Legends. And yes, I named my daughter after a League of Legends character, but don't make fun of me. Rally into the Fed gets me slightly more nervous. Well, it's just the importance of these levels, and maybe we need to remind people of that. Blanky, is that a technical term? Yeah, it is. It's a literal term. I'm literally using a little Pokemon Blanky right now. All right, because I'm a man, you know? I'm a manly man. Yeah, 550 got bigger actually a little bit. So 570 and 550 are the big levels. 565 as well. So this is important right here. We see that here. So the levels to pay attention to. I would kind of do this if I was looking at levels here using Max Payne. I would find the 2 highest points on the put side and the 2 highest points on the call side. You notice this one's a little far out, so not so much looking at that one, but more so looking at this one. Notice that we are more towards the put side. Very interesting to be more towards the put side today, 1.2. So do we think they're going to close this below 550, the tallest one? No. So if we head in the downward direction, 550 most likely will be a key thing to pay attention to. You see 570 is the highest, 550 is the highest. So those are the 2 main points I want to watch. And we'll notice that 570 is right by a daily expected move, adds more credibility. 550 is down to our lower expected moves, down by gap fill. Sasuke? Oh, my wife would have. I hate Sasuke. I don't see why people like him so much. Okay, I don't hate him, but like, he's a brat. Naruto's annoying. I finally watched that anime. I watched it for the first time last year. I think we can end the week at 580. Yeah, I mean, if you're potentially, here's the thing. So, what lands you outside of weekly expected moves? Unexpected downside move and an unexpected upside move. What do we call an unexpected upside move? A squeeze. So, squeezes will do that. Thanks for covering TAK stock. Company assigned shares at $17. We were thinking to sell while the price is up. It has been down for a long time. Have been following you for a while. Yeah, we can check on that again and again. Okay, BK. And thank you so much for the $9.99. I really do appreciate it. But you can keep coming back and just ask me at those type of times, because it doesn't mean that that stock can't be at risk. But also, I would encourage is it your husband, you and your husband, correct? Well, if your family owns it, or your wife, I can't remember. But if your family owns it in some way and he's part of the company, he might be able to get data, aka he might be able to inside trade that bad boy. No, no, he might be able to make decisions because he might get a little bit of like data, possibly, see if they're profitable, how much is their debt, go through those fundamental reasons. But you do have good technical reasons to believe that might be a good 12 to 24-month hold. And now maybe you have those skills where if you see some kind of weekly divergence or a weekly cross back down, you kind of know the type of decision making that you would have to make, right? That you would have the kind of decision that's going to pop up. So, like say on this weekly, we're pretty up there. You're going to levels where it has seen resistance before. Something here that would be nice is that handle, which could be that daily pullback. But if this weekly crosses down, it's not necessarily a good thing. But I just think that this monthly looks really, really good. So hopefully he knows more about the company, and then you can just try to use technicals to help. Because for this, it can drop lower, right? This is relatively new. This is pretty new, 2008, 2009. But you do have great signals here, and you're taking back the 50. So I think at least a move to like 20 would be great. If you can get to here, if you can break through 2050. Yeah, I would just say this, actually. I think you'd probably draw a line here, but it does kind of suggest, I'm going to take that, 2054. So that level would be important. It could take a while to get there. There's a monthly chart, right? There's a monthly chart. How the hell? How did that happen? Yeah, BK, come, but mention it every once in a while, okay? If you think something's going wrong or something like that, ask your buddies here. I'm sure other people, click over to the stock as well and would have their opinions. But for the most part, I see a monthly like this. I'm going, well, interesting. Look at this. While the price action's going down, nice little taper off for almost a triple bottom. You're aware how it could break down, okay? So we're aware that if the weekly crosses down, that's not a good sign. And if you lose these levels, you can really start to lose them. You got earnings coming up, inside, if Nancy Pelosi can do it, I think you and your hubby or whoever can do it. But a nice monthly divergence. So gold, man, GLD, rough. JP Morgan still producing that little bits of upside, but we're aware the 2-hour could still cross down. We left behind that gap as well. 221.62. What time's FOMC today? It is 2 hours before the close. You will get the FOMC. 30 minutes after that, you will get the little Jerome Powell speech. So do I have to do this? I wonder if that would like change how my mic sounds. You know, you can edit like a Yeti mic on the Logitech hub. I thought that was cool. But yeah, we'll check on that every once in a while. GME seeing it too, seeing pretty good things. Just no 2-hour divergence. I'd probably like to see that first. I know that earnings is there, so man, it's like earnings is usually not the time that something's going to happen for GME unless they announce something completely unexpected. It's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be May. Yeah, were you seeing those big spikes, Sid, to like 24.20 everyone's been posting? I was like, damn, crazy. You still holding that hedge? I trimmed it by half yesterday. So I'm gonna hold on to it for FOMC, the other half. I only took 2 contracts for like next week. Yeah, so it's literally like one of the lightest hedges I've ever taken, but that's okay. That's good. That's why I utilize that, right? It was able to minimize something. Hey, I can maybe take profit on a little bit, add that to one of my plays, maybe look at the metas, maybe look at the Amazons. Sustained bounce, you're going into a big event. Can pog, can poj, con po, kapaga, kapagi, can poggy. Yeah, you're heading into a big event, so don't assume that the first move's the right one. This is retail hour too. The smartest decision usually on these days are at least like wait till the end of the day. Because like you might see at the end of the day, stocks all the way down here. Powell might be sell the news. Yeah, but where was the buy the rumor? Like this ain't that big of a buy the rumor. That's enough. That's not enough buying of the rumor. And at least in my opinion, I think you'd want to see a little bit more than that. But I think he could. I think it's this week. I think it's more about the options data and how people are positioning with options, and less about what Jerome Powell's actually doing. I think you're going to see the real move from what Jerome Powell is doing potentially next week. Actually, I think you'll more so see it towards the end of this week. Right? It might begin at the end of this week, maybe even on Friday. But I think you're more so the options market's going to be in control here. There's a lot of money on the line for Friday. There's a load of puts out there. 1,045 minutes. I don't not that I see. I mean, over here I got the data up over here. I mean, there you go. That's Central Time. Pal, probably at 1:30 Central Time, so an hour and a half before close. Did this thing fix yet? Oh my gosh, why is this not working? All right, we're going to try something here. I'm going to try to fix this because I want to do a poll. I'm just going to try to switch accounts back and forth a little bit. I went into Mike Schwartz's stream today. I said one comment. He stopped everything he was doing, read the comment. He was like, "Oh my god, that's a good point." And then he went through all of his stuff and he talked about it for like 10 minutes. I'm like, sick. It's just like old times, buddy. Wait, what was I? Oh, sorry, I'm taking a little blip here for a moment. Just to French toast. There it is. Ooh, French toast. Oh, it worked. I'm holding SPY 610 calls for end of April. Well, just be aware that you're still in a volatile time, okay? And be aware that this is still very possible, okay? That moment to really get people bearish, and we kind of described this over on Patreon. We'll let you guys know. We put out that Patreon video last night. Sorry if it was a little bit I just don't feel like I was explaining the best that I could. But the main take from part of that video was we really have not seen this. We haven't seen this happen. I mean, genuinely, all I did was this, right? Let's look back. We've sold off. Here, let me look at my other charts to get a date here. Daily. When did we start selling off? Let's see. Right here, February 20th. February 20th. Okay, well, where's right here? That's January 17th. So if I draw a box here, underneath that red line, and then I draw a box up here above that red line from January 17th. Where was February in this, right? Right in here. Okay, awesome. Have we seen that shift? Have we seen spikes into here like we did down here before the big drop? No, and this is what's concerning me, and this is why I think we need to sweep those lows. Even though we know the put volume's high, we know that people are pretty leveraged for downside, we know that people are paying attention to crash, I'm not seeing it proven in the CPC. And so I would like to see that proven. If anything, we would say people are bullish to neutral with a little bit of bearishness, according to the CPC, not according to everything else. So I think you're going to need that moment where you see that, oh my gosh, yeah, this is going to be awful. And then they're just completely wrong. But it doesn't have to happen. We're still going to just follow the price action is the most important thing. But when I do that, it's just like, normally we see this, people making those nice bearish bets. Normally we see it. We have not seen it yet, which is very, very interesting to me. Just flipping to the call side, it's just crazy. It's just going calls, 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 really. It's going neutral and calls. So it's very interesting, but I think you might need to see more touches up in this area, which means I'm open to this being a complex base even more so now, right? And we kind of knew how this, right? If you go back to Thursday's video, we talked about, we did a lot. I think it was last Wednesday. We talked about, yes, we could see that 30-minute divergence. Then guess what? 30-minute divergence popped up. But in that same video, we were like, then after that 30-minute divergence, you could see the 2-hour get that move, reject, and then make that 2-hour divergence. And that's kind of what we're paying attention to now. The crazier part is you could see that 2-hour curl up, and then the daily curls up and then fails. And then you could do all that again in the same exact area to really get people bearish. Right? But we're still going to watch for those lower highs. And if the daily makes a divergence, we'll be happy. But if it doesn't, that might be a big moment. Okay, I can actually do a poll now. I just want to ask. I just want to blatant, you can weigh up or down and weigh the pros and cons, but I really just want to know, and I wanted to ask real quick. Let me get rid of that. Actually, let's add another option. Okay, there we go. I just wanted to ask you guys a question. Those of you who are showing up to the Rumble streams, I just want to ask you just a quick question. Like, are you enjoying yourself over there? Okay, we're going to start that poll. Just let that go for a little bit. All right. I just want to see if you guys are enjoying yourself. Okay. A lot of people said they were, but I just want to make sure because some people are quiet in there. Some people are just hanging out. Powell might be sell the news. Powell in 45 minutes, right? My time would be 8 a.m. It's been great. Thank you, Robert. Oh, Robert, I got big news for you, buddy. I showed my wife your music. I could definitely tell when I said, "Hey, one of my people in chat is a part of a band or something." You know what I mean? Whatever it's that, people are like, "Oh God." But she was genuinely in the first 15 seconds, she was like, "Holy shit, this is good." She's like, "If he's ever around us, we got to go see him." I was like, "Hell yeah, let's go." So Robert, thanks for sharing that with us over on Rumble yesterday. We found out what Robert does. He can tell you guys if he wants, but it was a lot of fun. It was good stuff. Your music is great. I think it's great. I actually listened to that. I think it was a Coffin song or something like that. I think I've listened to that one a few times. Yeah, Rumble yesterday was entertaining. We had to be entertaining because we sat in the same freaking place the whole time. I'm going to go into a 5-minute again here. I want to see if we handle this right here. Like we get a handle. What up, Short Fridays? How's it going, dude? Damn, I was trying to make my mic sound nice and spicy for you guys. Let's see if I can maybe boot it up. Maybe if I boot this up, it'll change how it sounds. What if it changed how it sounds right away? That'd be crazy. No, it's not changing how it sounds. I enjoy both places. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I just kind of put like, kind of indifferent. That's overall a good thing, right? That's overall a good thing. What up? Yeah, I want to see if we make like a little handle here. I mean, look at this. Look at that roundness. Yo, I would drink out of this cup. That just looks like my coffee cup right now. I swear. If Stitch was on it, man, that'd be my coffee cup, I swear. Who have you guys seen the new the Stitch movie or whatever? What do you guys think? There you go. This is what my coffee cup pretty much looks like. I love Stitch, if you didn't know. I'm a child. There's my that's the coffee cup I'm drinking out of right now. Sorry, I gotta be goofy. We're just seeing this up. I think we're gonna get a little 5-minute pullback here. Make that little handle, that'd be nice. Okay, let's see what people are wanting in there. I have a great idea, and people will think I'm nuts for it. Let's go short Fridays. Can you look at Max Payne for Friday with so many puts? Wouldn't it make it likely to squeeze up and not pay them? So Swan, there's an important thing about that options expiration. Wall Street likes to target that options expiration, and so we don't necessarily know if all of those puts are retail or if all of those puts are potentially Wall Street, right? We technically do not know. But when we look at it, we can kind of look at it in a way that goes, well, they most likely would be pretty concentrated somewhere. And maybe it's going to be the biggest one. So I'm mainly watching this, and I'm understanding this is there for Friday. What if they got out of those positions, say today, if we go down to 550, we start to base out, we see that 2-hour divergence curl up, and then you wipe everything out. And maybe, I can't remember right now who said it in chat. I have to scroll back through, but maybe you do end up at a 580 and you start squeezing. That'd be pretty psycho, though. I don't know if you do all of that, but you'll notice that Max Payne is where it's 580. So it more depends, like, do the manipulators want to make the market stay lower so their options can expire and they can, say whatever, and then we do things next week? Or is this retail and potentially Wall Street is already making moves in the other direction, right? The hell was that? Oh, that was the 28th. What am I doing? Yeah, 28th, right? 21, 28. What is that? Whoa. I didn't see that yesterday. Did anyone else see this yesterday? Am I looking at this right? Someone check my work. You drop the case against Ripple and XRP. Hey, that's good for Ripple. Quote of the day. I'm a child. Huge positive divergence for coin. Exactly. Yeah, Michael, you have divergence on XRP. You have divergence on Solana. You have divergence on Ethereum. You have divergence on Bitcoin. You have divergence on coin. You have divergence on MSTR. Crazy, right? That's a little wild. I most likely will have to look into this tonight. That's kind of wild. What are these spiking at? Those aren't like tiny, tiny levels. That's a little crazy. We'll have to see about that. I might have to do some more research into that. What the hell is going on with that? Okay, what do we see that week? Okay, some call. Oh, wait a second. Oh my god. Hold on, let me see something. Why would that happen? 525. Who's thinking that? It's really concentrated. That's a ton. No. I mean, kinda. What's expiring this week? A lot expiring this week. Huh. That is a little bit strange. PCC going up? As of right now, yes, it is starting to tick up. But people are trying to, go more from bullish or from the call side to neutral, which would kind of be like, all right, we might squeeze for a second here. No, I do not, Steve-O. I do not. You just have open interest. That's the bad part about that. Yeah, Dub's like, you'd have to find the size of the contracts to know if it's retail or institutions. That's fact too. Yeah. I think for us, it's just important we pay attention to the price action. And then I'm just going to rock with it. I'm going to rock with these percentages too. We understand that if this is going to see a big drop, then the 2-hour would cross down. Even if the 2-hour divergence is going to fail, you're still going to see something turn back down. Momentum will show you. I mean, unless they're going to be real sketchy about it, they shoot you down, they give you a little bounce on Friday, and then on Monday they just gap you extremely lower. That would be awful. Or 130,000 puts for 530, 321, and 70,000 puts for 500 at 321. Jesus. FOMC today, Japanese carry this week. Oh, what was the Japanese data yesterday? Anyone pay attention to that? Japanese, the bounce trade coming in low. BOJ interest rate decision. Oh, they kept it flat. All right, they kept it flat. That's interesting. When they saw that curl up to 4% with their inflation, they kept it flat. I don't know if that was in their best interest to keep that flat, though. I wouldn't think so. All right, I'm gonna shut down the poll. Let's end this poll. See what people were saying. Wait, did I just delete the poll? I might have just deleted our damn poll. Oh well. Oh, there it is. Are you enjoying the Rumble stream? 61%, yes. Kind of the same, about 31%, and only 6% saying no. So that's very, very good. 47 votes. Thank you guys for voting on that. Rumble's blocked at your workplace. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Michael. They do have an app, Michael, and apparently it's very nice. People are using just the app too. You got like little Bluetooth headphones or something, you can at least listen in. Hope everyone's having, if you are at work, I hope you're having a great day at work. And then let's look at this 30-minute chart here. See if we're getting that curl up. Looks like that could potentially be happening now. Did it happen just a second ago? Yeah, it happened. Okay, so this is starting to point in the upward direction. We can still run into those times where these things fail, right? So right away, we're watching this. Boom. If that turns down, we're not happy with it. Even 15-minute might be your friend. If I connect over Wi-Fi, it's still blocked. Ew, it's one of those. Ew. Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry about that, buddy. Wish I could find a way to figure that out. But hey, we still enjoy having you here in the morning. All right, here we go. This is something we seriously want to pay attention to as well. Weirdly enough, still want to be aware that a 2-hour divergence on the volatility can turn up daily charts, but I'm not leaning towards that. I'm going to be aware of it. I might have to get out of things if we turn down. I might have to... Actually, my position size, let me look. Yeah, my position size is not crazy. It's enough that I'd be like, ah, damn, but it's not enough to make me like, S my P's. Shmup. I gotta listen to some tunage. I don't know. I might listen to this new band. Just heard about them. They're pretty sick. Just know 'em. Only the cool kids know about them. They're pretty dope. Now, whenever I click on music on my little thing here, they always show up in their own little thing. I don't know. One of the, it's like, one thing I will say is the lead singer, his eyes, man, they're like midnight, All right, 30-minute, get up there. Maybe we get that 5-minute little pullback for a moment here. This is why I want to pay attention if we flag out here or something. Nice little would be great. Having a good time, having a good time. Yeah, I'm going to listen to it. I don't. PCC needs to gap up for a very sexy entry. I'm leaning more towards the upside. We are just below the gap. 30-minute is curling up from the 0 line. Also, if the market wants to shake all the puts and calls, 570 is the point where everyone is screwed. It will be interesting because 570, maybe people leak out, but I still want to be aware that downside we could get more bearish, right? Because here's the other thing, and I'm going to pause this for a second so I can think. So you have to understand that a lot of people still do like to, okay, here's the mentality. If this goes like this, let's say the 2-hour actually does it. Let's say we set a trap up here, we go down. Let's say we cut this low. So people who have positions down here later dated, or even like Friday, if we do all of that like quickly, they'll potentially still hold on to those, right? These are the type of people that try to get rich quick, and they might even add to those positions. Those are those kinds of people. A lot of people are bad at hitting that profit button. Don't make money till you hit the sell button. But the other thing is you might take out stops for people who are long, screw them over. And the other thing is when you go down to here, just like that channel on YouTube I was watching this morning, someone I do not trust, that's why I was watching it. Always watch both sides, guys, right? Always watch both sides. He was overall saying, and the two channels I watch were saying, I'm going to short once we lose this low. I'm taking heavy short position. What does our weekly expected move tell us about doing something like that? Hey, if you're right, it would be completely unexpected. But if you're wrong, well, the percentages are all pointing in the upward direction if we end up down at that lower level. So not only are the people who already have those positions going to potentially keep that into Friday, into next Friday, into the next Friday, they might add to it. But on top of that, you might get people like that guy who's just like, hey, this low was just cut. Okay, we're going down to 530. And they might start to open those positions at the exact wrong time. You see a big ass gap or something like that. Ooh, that would be super cool to see on an options expiration. Options expiration sometimes is super boring. Like sometimes just flat. Like you'll move in a certain direction for it, and then you just kind of. I think the last Opex we saw was a little bit like, maybe I'm wrong. One of them this year was. Keep getting wicked out like they know where the stops are. Probably. But GKL, I'm still kind of with you on that. Like, I'm still thinking upside at the end of it all, but it's just how complex is it going to get? How crazy is today going to be? We'll bash people over on Rumble, not on the YouTube platform. They will flatline all calls and puts starting tomorrow to take retail's money. Facts. Everyone's expecting. Actually, that's kind of true too. Everyone's expecting something big. What if you just sit? What if you just sit, and then you see a move next week? Once everything expires, Because the difference this week from the in the open interest is pretty heavy. I mean, but that order that came in for next week at 525 kind of blew that up. 5.8 million total open interest this week. Where are we? We're at 565. If we sat at 565, so many people would lose money on both sides. Next week, so to put that in perspective, next week you only have 719 open interests, 719,000 compared to 5.8 million this Friday. Pretty crazy difference there. And if it doesn't go well, I'll reimburse you. What is it, short Fridays? Let me know. Lucas, wouldn't the trading move to be short if low was cut, cover if it bounces? Above by X, pick your number. Just trying to learn. Shorting at a low is usually never the way to go. And shorting at a bottom side weekly expected move is normally never the way to go. If you're talking about decision making, right? The reason that this was the level 2 short was because of all the reasons there, right? You can use that as resistance. We saw the big call ball, right? There's a lot. So normally you'll see this, right? Smart people will potentially take those shorts here with the cross down. Okay, maybe here. We see that move down, reconnect with the 5, even reconnect with the 9. They might reapply those positions here. That's when we see even bad things happen again. Then we head down. Okay, they say, oh, the 200. Okay, we might see support there. Day traders might take control. Okay, 5 is overall where they're going to reload the puts, right? Those little trades. Now you're seeing something different. You're getting above the 9 for a moment. You're still above the 9 right now. You're below the 200. That's not a good thing. But you have reversal signals outside of a 68% zone. So it depends on your trading style too, right? I'm talking in my style. My style would say shorting, starting a big short position here. Yeah, I can take a little trade maybe like this, but shorting here, if I'm wanting this to see a bigger move, maybe like a bigger move down, right? Position style. Well, that would say based on the percentages alone and the reversal signals we've created so far, that that's probably not a good decision, right? The probabilities are all pointing in the upward direction. The weekly expected move is suggesting that this week we can do this, right? So we're watching it. We're watching the 2 hour, but I think you're potentially going to see a trap here, then see a trap all the way down here by the end of the day. Get them nice and bearish. If you only do Mara calls 13 strike expiring 3/28/25 for 400 risk. If it loses, I'll reimburse you by way of super chat. Let me take a look at it first, all right? Because Mara, I don't think I've had many things go right with Mara when I've taken it. Wow. But Mara's showing it too. Remember, Bitcoin, Ripple, all those other ones are showing it. So, I will tell you what. Let me look at it by end of day. At end of day, I'll make a decision. Okay, short Fridays? By end of day. By end of day. Because I want to see what happens with the Jerome. Actually, it's $400. 30-minute crossed. Hourly? Did hourly cross at least? Okay, when hourly crosses, if hourly crosses here, I'll try to do it with you. I kind of want to do a scale-in type of thing, though, but just in case that volatility comes in. Okay, hourly crosses up, I'll do it. It seems like a good risk to reward. I wish I had a monthly expected move. Holy crap, I gotta pee all of a sudden. I'll be right back, guys. Oh my goodness, that just snuck up on me all of a sudden. I'm gonna put you guys on a 5 minutes, see if we make a little handle here. We're kind of flagging nope, not flagging anymore, but see if we make a handle here. Or maybe we reject, right? So be right back. Yeah, just keep an eye on it for me, short Fridays, and then I'll take a peek at it. If you see an hourly start to cross, I'll go take a peek at it. or I'll leave it up on my other charts. Be right back, guys. 2 seconds. I always say that, not 2 seconds, like 2 minutes. Wait, I made a be right back sign, but it says 30 minutes. Yeah, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Be right back. Sorry, I had to say hi to baby girl real quick. Anything happen while I'm gone? Nothing cool? Nothing dope? Let's see here. Kind of want to look over at these guys for just a moment. Wow, that looks bad for a 5 minute. There's that 30-minute divergence possible. Even this 30-minute looks like terrible liquidity. 2 hour by the center line. Not a very good divergence. Daily trying to confirm today. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, SPY. 30-minute here. Actually, 5-minute. 5-minute probably goes deeper than that, right? 5-minute probably goes to 562.80, right? My wife's doing a bunch of projects around here. I don't really like extended hours personally. There are some potential changes if we keep in this trend of like dark pool, after hours behavior, and things like that, where I'll potentially have to make changes, but I haven't seen enough of a reason to have to do that just yet. I think it tries to build the handle to the cup. But like you can utilize extended. Plenty of people use extended to trade. You just have to look at it probably a little bit different. Maybe just spread it out to an hourly chart instead of a 30 if you want to do position style. Hello, Sasuke. Shut it. That's facts, man. I need a good night's sleep tonight. Please stay. I want you, I need you, oh God. Stay. Big showing strength at the fib, 78.6. I'm gonna stay on 30-minute chart for now. Where we know that handle potentially forming on the 5-minute, but we're looking at the 30-minute king cross down. Bam. Got all those words out really fast. Yeah, this would be interesting for us to stop right here, leave that gap behind. Still leave that gap behind as unfinished business, just fail this cup and handle, this little 5-minute cup and handle that could happen. That'd be interesting, Sid. I want you, I need you. Go. Also, the all-in. I like it. I like milk. You know what? I'll buy that. I don't even need to look at signals. No. Look at the last few 20-30% crashes we had, even after the 10 to 15% move, the market snaps 5 to 8% to upside afterwards. I'm very scared to take shorts at such a big dip. Yes, and this is why a lot of this can be pretty proven by just going back and looking at those volatile times. And you'll just see, like, when you do get that 10% drop, you usually see some kind of snapback. So you'll notice that in 2022, we actually had this moment, one, and then we had this moment here, which looks kind of similar. And then we did that. That's the real lower high, in my opinion. And then right when everyone says bear market, remember, now we're down by 15%. Everyone says bear market, you make the reversal signals and see one of those bear market rallies. So this is like a quick rally, double top, fell down. So yeah, you more likely will see it. The way that you see those mega crashes like a COVID or something is it's very unexpected, and I think too many people are expecting it. So I think you need an upward move to at least get people to think like, yeah, this can base out, this can head to the upside, and then that curls back down, right? We talked about this happening, potential to happen. Maybe just to make that down, maybe just make that daily divergence, right? We're very deep here, so it's going to be difficult to get all the way to here. You'd have to see an absolute mega squeeze. And I'm not necessarily seeing that from the CPC. I just do not see it in the CPC. Not yet. But you know what would do it? Take out that low, right? Get all those even YouTubers that get all those people, get everyone to say, hey, this low's taken out, stopped out on my calls. This is it. I give up. This is bullshit. You know, they're going to get pissed. And then they're going to be probably doing bad decisions right at the wrong time. Even 2020 did it. There's a little snapback. I'll have to look. Trying to see if there's like a song I haven't listened to in a while that pops up. Oh my gosh. Today's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna rip back and forth. I need it to hold me. My elbow. Why my elbow hurt so bad? What the hell? Ouch. I just want to see if this is going to make the structure to head there. What's that measurement, too? Let's go to the 5-day. It would be the perfect way to make a 30-minute divergence right here, guys. Oh, my goodness. If that 30-minute confirms back down, oh, crap. That's not going to be too pretty. But we have it confirmed up, so the upside move, 570, looks like a likely thing. 565 is where we got to. That's one level as well. Stretch it out, stretch it out, stretch it out. Ooh. All right, I need to look at other charts or something. You might be able to ask, go over to Mike Schwartz real quick. I think he's streaming. He usually has some good discounts on some prop firms. And I trust that guy. I think he's streaming right now. If you pop in there, he might have a good link for you. Or you can pop in the chat and just ask him, like, hey, do you know a good prop firm? He'll probably help you out. Because I've never had to utilize that. No, like, I just ignored the scam caller and they scammed it again. They're like, no, we're calling back. He's okay. He's just a different style, I think. Yo, you gotta be kidding me. That is 3 back to back. Is it the same number? I'm gonna block this number if it calls again. The hell? Actually, fuck that. I'm blocking it right now. The fuck? I'll block that number. Jeez. That was the same number called 3 times in a row, and I was just muting it. I always just let it ring. Usually, my phone's good at just like not even showing those. Usually it doesn't even let them go through. So what we want to see here is a 5-minute pullback without curling down a 30-minute. Gold has that lower low. Gold's been going up during all this. That is something different. Remember, gold could get the reaction first. We could still see crazy things into Opex. Oh, that's annoying, Sid. Burn it down, build it up again. Apex only has a 71% discount right now, usually 80. Well, some of them are scams to try to get you to take the test over and over and over again, and it's like impossible or very, very, very difficult to pass the test. That's what I've heard about prop firms, but I've never had to utilize one. But I've heard that. Go, JP Morgan. Go, go, go. Oh, look at our boy Rumble. Not bad. We'll see. We left behind a gap. Unfortunate. What was it? GLD? GLD, I still think it has maybe a more time before the big drop, right? I still think this is going to happen. Maybe it's more brief than that, but it could happen just like this. But you know, reversals up in this areas at any point, a 2-hour reversal in this area, going to be a big deal. Now, the only other thing is if the daily just crosses down, then you have daily divergence, and that's very likely to go probably fill all of these gaps. Probably go back down to 262.35. I'm going to try to look at, actually, let's see. I'm going to click through some just real quick. Wow, okay, Apple actually doing a good move there. Amazon, 30 minutes, just very controlled. Freaking Amazon. Freaking Meta. What the fuck? Hmm. TLT, very interesting here. Man. I don't know why this seems boring to me, but it is. All right, I guess everything's going accordingly here. Actually, hmm. Damn. Yeah, Rumble is. It is 10 a.m. right now. We might have to pop over to Rumble. I'm going to give it another few minutes here. I want to see if this 5-minute confirms by 10:30. So in about 25 minutes, we are going to switch over to Rumble. Dave's got a good feeling about that 5,800. Is that Y line? 200 SMA. It's a 200 and it adjusts with the chart. So this is like a 5-minute 200 SMA. Blue Sky's the best. They have the least rules. I wonder if what's his name can get on Blue Sky. Michael. I wonder if Michael can get on Blue Sky at his work. Probably. Want to reach out to you? Is that why you're doing it? Nope. Nope. Strictly a business move on my part to spread ourselves out a little bit in case YouTube doesn't work or YouTube flags some of my stuff and makes me not go live one day. Just little things like that. Nope. They did not reach out to me in any way. This was all my decision. And I'm adding to the, right? We're not going to be streaming on Rumble in the mornings. We're just doing the closing streams. But we're doing all day streams this week to give you guys a little bit extra. That way, because I know changing platforms is sometimes not fun and making a new account could be annoying on a new platform. So yeah, I wanted to give you guys something very tangible, very nice. No, I'm nowhere big enough. Rumble only reaches out to people who can bring like tens of thousands of people over. They're not going to reach out to me. And legally, I have to tell you if they did, by the way. If it was sponsored, a sponsored thing in some way. One day, maybe. Hey, if they want to throw me 100 grand, I'll live stream on Rumble. But it better be at least 100 grand. Still a bomb on Tesla. Oh, still worried about Tesla though. Still below the 5. I think you still could go make a 30-minute here, but the 2 hour is pretty good there. Tesla's chart looks real choppy, but so many people are negative about it that it's probably going to squeeze eventually. Two-hour divergence with 1,000 gaps, almost. It's water. Feels like we're all just like sitting around, kind of like, oh, okay, we get a curl up of the 30-minute. Can we hit 570? But sitting mainly around just for like FOMC. My fingers want to click buttons and stuff, but gotta wait for that FOMC. I think crypto will squeeze first. Well, crypto has the daily divergence. I mean, we could do what crypto did and make a daily divergence. Let's see it. Okay, so look at a 4 hour then. Yeah, 4 hour confirms down. Yeah, it's really tough on this one. It's very close. Maybe multiple point. You don't have it on the MACD here. It'd be really nice to see a fake out above this level now. It'd be really nice to see like this. I think that would be really nice. But yeah, you just have daily divergence there for sure. Looking for rejection. Maybe. I heard China's been doing well, right? It's just I don't know if like a ton. We're just gonna like watch maybe manipulation before like people get tricked and stuff like that before FOMC. We'll see if it ends up being a trick, but yeah, Toronto. It's kind of like the 4 hour confirmation could be the time to make them, but like the 2 hour could still go make another point of divergence. Yeah, 559, 5. Yeah, you're right. 565, one level to pay attention to. So you break above that, hey, maybe 570's there. You can close above. Hey, 570 might be there for you. People go, this is the bottom. We're gonna squeeze. We're gonna squeeze with the FOMC. Look at this. We're gonna squeeze, and the FOMC comes out. Nice little sell comes in. Then it cuts that low, and they'll go, "Oh my God! Now the FOMC, it's gonna crash us. The FOMC crashed us. We're in a crash. This is it. Watch out for a 20% drop." And then it just turns back around at the weekly expected move. 15 minutes and we'll be switching over to Rumble. If you want to click that link in the description, that way you're followed and have that account ready and ready to go, welcome to do so. Huh. What's the volume? Okay. Wait, let's do a 30-minute volume here. Ooh. This move up is overall on very weak volume. Those of them are like what, GKO? No, I said I was gonna do it at I said 25 minutes. I was looking at 10:30 in the bottom right. I don't know if you can see it. I just wanted to see if I was talking about a 5-minute chart. Yeah, if you heard that, I was saying if I want to see if this 5-minute can curl up, so I'm gonna stick around for just a bit. It's either crash or reverse crash. It kind of seems that way, doesn't it? Kind of seems like you lose these levels and you see those big confirmations down. Ooh, we can head down. But if we see that reversal signal pop up, boom, you head to the upside. So something big's gonna shift here in the next, I would say, potentially just like by the end of the week. Maybe this could leak out till like Tuesday or something, but it potentially could be something crazy. Potentially, we're going to see that in the next couple trading sessions, maybe even today. 11:15 a.m. in New York. 10:15 here. Damn, I don't know if it's the storm. Everything is so slow over here. Oh God. Is Nevada big gold play? All right, guys. Our buddy posted something. Let's go look at it. NGLD. That can't be it. High or low? Good area. Right shoulder that could have been a little bit deep. Man, why would you just sit and try to do these penny stocks all the time? I feel like that's even more difficult. Like that would drive me nuts. What's this guy saying? I'm gonna click into some places here. Huh. That was boring. I'm very like, yeah, I did not need to click on that at all. Oh yeah, it's just the encouragement of option plays for getting money quick is what I don't agree with. It's like I have, you know, I got I know 60-year-old people that buy penny stocks, but they do it in a certain way from an investment standpoint with a very risk managed position. That's the big difference. So how would you trade this? Oh, I'm sitting. I'm sitting in my positions just waiting. Waiting, very controlled on Amazon. Looks like another 30-minute curl down for another move lower. But that's just going to get us to the weekly expected move and set me up a reversal signal. So if I see this from the 30-minute today, I know what decisions to make. This 30-minute could leak higher for this whole time until we get to that moment. And then I just want to see if that divergence actually holds there. So what do I think is at risk probably of a bigger drop? I wish NVIDIA would get the upward move first. What is Netflix doing too? I'll just look at my other charts actually. Lower high, very likely. If that breaks the heat, that'd be good. Oh, baby girl's yelling. And you'll lose 50% if it drops to $1. Yeah. If it's $1, you literally lose 1 cent. 1%. 1 cent is 1%. Oh yeah, that probably happens all the time, right, Mystery? It's because they all have liquidity issues. That's why it's like options with those are very iffy, and I know that they push options over there. 328, 328 expiration. I don't know, man. I feel like 525 is just like insane. You said there's a 425 as well. The thing is, those options are so cheap. How cheap is a 525 option? know, that could be a massive hedge, you know, like a big boy hedge. Okay, what is it? This is the 28th. 28th. The put at 525 costs like, how much does it cost? Yeah, 50 cents. It's still not even that cheap. You would expect 525 to be kind of insane for next week. Let's see, how big of a percentage move would 525 be? Where we're at right here. 7%. How much is like a 7% call? What's 7% to the upside? Holy crap, gotta zoom out. Maybe the 603, 604 probably. So call side, taking a 7% move up is 3 cents. 3 cents. I wonder when that position was bought, but probably gonna have a very hard time filling any bullshit on that. Unless the market maker helps you out. If that's one big order, that is, I guess. Yeah, coin's got daily divergence, so coin's got a bunch of 30-minute divergence, little 2-hour rejection divergence at the low, or maybe higher low, probably higher low, but daily divergence is showing up a little bit here. Two-hour showing up across, very, very steep. So it's probably on the 4-hour too, bigger chart, but you see it there. We actually hold the point. I don't think we're holding the point on the daily. All are $50 away from each other, so no shot is different people making those orders. Sounds about right. It's too big. It's too big. BlackBerry. Coin, I mean, you're just looking for positivity from Bitcoin as well. Like that. 2-hour. Like it. You need that breakthrough kind of moment, or else, you know, you're at risk still. This isn't the best buying. You're still, this could still take place. Make a more complex floor. That'd be interesting, but yeah, it looks like a day. I mean, the daily scale can turn up if those 2 hours still remain positive. It's just if they curl down, you might chop that low. Or BlackBerry. I bought mine a month out. April 17th was the closest. I'm chilling on it. It's kind of a another gap up, a little bit of upside, and just sideways for hour and a half, maybe longer. A 5-minute ever curl back up though? I just need to transition over. You want to see a strong move from the 5-minute because this is gap resistance. You don't necessarily want to do this. That wouldn't be good. That would help out our timing, I think, though, because you're going to need to see it. If it's going to start turning down, need it soon. But that 5-minute can confirm up. It's starting to look like, hey, 569 can happen, 570 can happen. $7% move down for the SPY, $50. 7% move up for the SPY, $3. Wow. That's for next week's expiration or whatever, though. All right, guys, let's do it. Let's do this transition real quick. I'm going to go say hi to the baby girl right before I put it on, but I will have it up there for you. If you guys want to join us, we're going to hop off of YouTube, and we're just going to switch over to Rumble. If you want to switch over to Rumble, the link is down in the description. We're going to do that right now. We're just going to do it real quick. Baby girl's up there doing something, so I want to go see what she's doing real quick, and then I'll start up that live show. But I'll try to get it started up so you don't have to, you guys can at least be talking in the chat, and then I'll get the feed of my PC over to it. So thank you guys so much for being here today. Really appreciate it. Let's just pay attention and trade like water. We know that today is a big day, day to day, kind of treating it like an earnings, like, hey, yeah, I have some exposure to this in some way, but it looks like we might need to make that more complex base. Maybe that gap below us is unfinished business. We'll see if this is able to get some good news, and we'll be watching or at least listening to Jerome Powell potentially later. Just a note, sometimes I get bored listening to him and I just like kind of shut him off. So, but we might listen to him. This one might be very important. So we want to hear what he talks about with QT, QE, rates and all that good stuff. Any kind of cutting, anything like that. We will be paying attention to those kinds of things. And just remember that the first move isn't always the right one. All right, guys. I hope you guys had a good time this morning. I know it was a little bit quieter. I just didn't get the best sleep last night because of the storm and then all these other crap going on. But I do appreciate you being here and spending your morning with me. I really do appreciate that. And if you want to spend more time with me and everyone here in the chat, hey, just click that link down in the description and join us over on Rumble. We will be there all day. We'll be watching some Jerome Powell, and we'll be looking for the reactions around that time. So I will see you guys in a moment. All right, let's switch over. All right, peace out. Links down there if you want to join us, guys. Kind of a sudden outro, but I was really hoping this 5-minute would curl up so we get to see it, but it could have more work to be done. It's still not by the center line. No big volume coming yet, so want to see if this type of thing happens. Use the 5 again. See if that thing can curl up into positive territory. That'd be very interesting. All right, guys, I'll see you over there in a second. Rumble's only for USA? No. Is it really? Hold on. It seems like some countries have some restrictions, but actually Rumble is not only for the USA. It's a Canadian-founded online video platform headquartered in Toronto, Ontario, with a base in Florida. There's a strong presence in the USA, but maybe something's different there. You know, I haven't looked into it enough, but it does say certain countries do have restrictions on Rumble, which is very weird to me, but interesting. All right, I'm still going to switch over there, guys, and I'll see you guys there in a moment. All right, peace out.